Hello and welcome to another ARC tutorial. I'm Terrifier and today I've got a list of 7 non-tech movement items that'll help you succeed in whatever game mode you prefer. If you end up liking this video, consider subscribing for more content like this. At number 1, we have grappling hooks. This one is a bit obvious, but I don't find enough players using them, honestly. Nonetheless, they're an essential movement item for both PvE and PvP, because they can help you traverse landscapes with ease, and they can also release you from the grip of an enemy creature. There are many mechanics at play with grappling hooks, but arguably the most important is their ability to prevent fall damage. So if you're falling and are going to land directly on the ground, you can shoot a tree or rock to land safely. The key here is to get the grappling hook attached to a point above the point where your character lands. If you miss and the grappling hook attaches to the ground, you'll take the full amount of fall damage. Basically, gravity doesn't apply if the grappling hook attaches to a point somewhere around shoulder level. Regardless, grappling hooks can help you travel vast distances if used in tandem with the second item on the list, parachutes. With a combination of parachutes and grappling hooks, you can traverse caves quickly or cross the map without a flyer. It takes a bit of skill to successfully navigate this way, but the reward of gliding over all the creatures in a cave is pretty gratifying. Parachutes as standalone items are helpful in both PvP and PvE. You'll see parachutes on the hotbar of every seasoned PvP player in the game because players like to pick you up with a flyer and drop you from the sky. Parachutes are an obvious counter to this, but it's not uncommon for players to attack you as you fall, so having a few other items ready is probably a good idea. Of course, parachutes can also be used as a last resort option to mitigate fall damage or even to escape a powerful creature near a cliff. I use parachutes throughout the game to save time by jumping off cliffs instead of finding a path down, especially when I don't have a flyer. Parachutes are a huge time saver, but also a colossal waste of time if you know what you're doing. At number 3, we have the raft and motorboat. These will get you around the oceans to collect the resources and creatures that will further your survival. Moving to the middle of the sea with a raft and diving down for loot crates or resources with the scuba gear makes for a highly effective movement combo. Remember that rafts are definitely not suitable for a fresh start on a PvP server, since floating around on a houseboat makes you an easy and obvious target for anyone with a flyer. However, if you're playing PvE, houseboats are actually really nice to have since you can swim around most danger while still getting things done. You can put all sorts of stuff on a raft or motorboat like smithies and fabricators, so don't count them out when you have big things to do. Next up, we've got the whip. The whip is definitely a more valuable item to PvP players than PvE players, but it's a great movement item nonetheless. It can move dinos forward a few feet to give you mobile cover while your dino soaks the turrets you're approaching, or detach you from the clutches of small flyers like pteranodons. It can force riders to dismount and flyers to land. You can wake players up by slapping the shit out of them and stun creatures if you hit them in the face. The whip can even disarm other players and take their weapons. Personally, I use the whip the most when I'm carrying heavy items like metal. You can drop the stack in front of you, move forward, then whip it back into your inventory. Rinse and repeat until the items are where they belong. Overall, it's a super practical item that I recommend adding to your kit. At number 5, we have the glider suit. The glider suit is similar to the parachute, but with way more control. It's essential for navigating aberration, but its uses are definitely not limited to one map. You can use the glider suit to keep up with the agility of fast mounts and basically dogfight, or just jump off a mountain and see how far you can get. The glider suit can be a more permanent solution to parachutes, but they're better used together for a slow descent and extreme control, allowing for cheap, precise, long-distance movement. There are so many situations that a glider suit excels in, so it's worth it to try it out and see if it works for you. Next up at number 6, we've got focal chili. Focal chili is a Rockwell recipe that's crafted in a cooking pot by combining various ingredients with water. Upon consumption, focal chili improves your movement speed by 25% and your crafting skill by 100% for 15 minutes. Typically, Rockwell recipes are best used with other Rockwell recipes for boss fights, caves, or other challenging encounters. For example, you could use focal chili combined with Lazarus chowder to reach deep underwater caves without any points to oxygen. However, perhaps a 25% increase in movement speed isn't enough for you. In that case, you can eat Battle Tartar, which gives a 50% movement speed increase, a 60% increase to melee damage, a 15% increase to damage resistance, and increased stamina regeneration. Unfortunately, this dish does cause you to lose 90 HP over 3 minutes, and it makes me super nervous. I recommend sticking to focal chili 9 out of 10 times. Finally, at number 7, we have the climbing pick. The climbing pick is essential for scaling vertical walls and landscapes. I can't tell you how many times I've needed a climbing pick on Aberration, but that's obvious since it's designed for it. Climbing picks on other maps can be really handy for scouting, escaping danger, or just an easy way to get up a cliff, among other things. Just be aware that primitive picks have surprisingly low durability, so make sure they don't break before you reach the top. On the other hand, climbing picks are a really great addition to your kit, especially if you find yourself doing a lot of on-foot travel. Either way, I encourage you to be creative and use all the tools we talked about today to make you a squirmy, lightning-fast foe. Do you know of any other helpful movement items or tips? Let us know in the comments below. Massive shout out to VIP patron Future Game Dev 2019 for supporting the channel. Thank you for your time today, and we'll see you in the next video.